And so Sir Criston fights on, and yet you have returned.
Because
fighting on is madness.
Do you think me mad, Your Grace?
No. So. You mean to fight on? With what? There's a dragon sitting on the hill above us, and 5 more not 30 leagues away.
Rhaenyra will not burn her own subjects. She is a woman.
squeak. When the usurper's host comes here, we will fight on our terms, on our ground. We have the clear advantage.
Meanwhile, we are turning King's Landing against that overweening. Little by little, bite by bite. Exposing her as weak and unsuited to rule. The great houses cannot but come to our side.
Have any yet come?
The patient hunter gets the kill.
Have you forgotten already the doom that hangs over you?
We have the clear advantage.
We are exposing her as weak and unsuited to rule. Little by little, bite by bite.
I cannot let this go unanswered.
We must do what we should have done in the first. Burn the villains out.
Wait but a while longer.
At what cost?
Let you go!
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. HBO released a bunch of new House of the Dragon Season 3, Episode 6 footage. There's a whole bunch of Easter eggs, references to the books here, so we will break it all down. Gonna be fun seeing Gwayne Hightower call Ormund on all of his bullcrap this week. During the new clip here, Gwayne Hightower has already made it back to Tumbleton to join their forces, the Green Forces, like he said he would when he bailed on Criston Cole's suicide mission, Leroy Jenkins himself. So it seems like there's been another small time jump and he's just arrived at Tumbleton because they weren't that close to the actual city with Criston Cole's forces. Maybe a couple other men might have gone with him too. I don't know if he was going on his own. They kind of made it seem like he was bailing. Maybe like 1 or 2 others went with him. But Criston Cole only had about half their forces from when they were at Harrenhal, which was already a very small amount of people. So like he barely has anybody with him right now. Most of them had ironically died off on the journey during episode 5, like they just succumbed to their wounds along the way. Like the journey was so hard for them. If it wasn't clear what their relationship is, just in terms of the Hightower family, Ormund Hightower is the head of the Hightower family now. His father was Hobart Hightower, the former head of the family. He's the cousin of Alicent and Gwayne Hightower. Gwayne is Alicent's younger brother.
Ormund and I had a game to run the tower.
They addressed this during Season 2 when they introduced Gwayne's character in a much bigger way. He was left back at Old Town when Otto Hightower became the Hand of the King and brought Alicent to court at King's Landing. So Gwayne Hightower grew up with Ormund Hightower. He knows him very well. Like Daemon was fostered at Old Town, so he grew up with Ormund Hightower. But Gwayne Hightower is much closer to his age. Like he's a little bit younger, but he's much closer to his age. So he's spent way more time with Ormund. So it'll be interesting to see what their dynamic is because he's already been making fun of him the last couple of episodes, saying that he was kind of a dink when they were growing up and he let them win all their contests, trying to see who could be the first person to run to the top of the high tower, which is actually a very tall tower, to see the sunrise first. And even though Gwayne Hightower doesn't really come off as being a very athletic person, he said that he always let Ormund win because he was such a bad loser and so bad at it. Which also reminds you in the recent episode of how Ormund crashed out when Daemon beat him at Sebast and just destroyed the set. It almost seemed like he was about to flip the table too. This is probably not the first time something like this has happened because we also saw him crash out when he got the note saying that Aemon and Vhagar weren't coming and tried to chop the table in half with his Valyrian sword, Vigilance. And it kind of seems in this new clip like he's about to crash out too when Gwayne Hightower pokes a real big hole in all of his overconfidence here. So when you look at all of his deficiencies, you kind of wonder if Ormund Hightower isn't as clever as he makes himself out to be, and he's just very lucky at different points. Kind of sounds like something's wrong with Ormund. Maybe he's suffering from low testosterone. Somebody get that guy tested. Libido, get tested, get treated, get results. Hone Health handles the whole thing. You get tested, a real physician reviews your results and builds a plan. TRT, peptides, sexual health, hair loss, supplements, and it's shipped directly to your door. HSA, FSA eligible. One test covers 50 plus biomarkers like heart, hormone, thyroid health, and more, so you actually know what's going on with your body and you're not just guessing. Then an actual doctor reviews it with you, builds a plan, not just a report dropped in an app. They can help you with plans including everything from TRT, peptides, sexual health, hair loss, and supplements, whatever works best for you. All doctor prescribed based on your results once you get tested. So go get tested, get treated, and get back to looking. But Hone Health will connect you with a real licensed physician who will walk you through the benefits and risks before you start doing anything. But the idea here is that Ormund Hightower is explaining the situation to Gwayne and his plan to crown Daemon. So it sounds like Gwayne has just literally arrived at the city gates. Like, okay, so you're here. This is what's going on. Ormund Hightower is overconfident in his plot to destabilize Rhaenyra inside King's Landing, which he's explaining to Gwayne, with the current plot to incite a riot with the small folk using the new Gold Cloaks murder plot, pushing Rhaenyra to get more paranoid with this Perkin the Flea character, or he might be Perkin the Flea. That's the big theory right now, who is a big character from the books. Ormund is trying to create a situation where Rhaenyra gets more paranoid and causes the small folk to retaliate against her, basically turning it into a self-fulfilling prophecy when really the small folk aren't responsible for all the stuff that's happening. I bet Ormund Hightower even created the graffiti about the bastards. He's probably behind that too. Ormund is also overconfident in their current ability to use the city of Tumbleton to defend against Daemon's army of Rivermen and Winter Wolves who are on their way, and their multiple dragons that they have. Way more dragons that the Greens have. Even if you don't count Rhaena and Sheepstealer, they have at least Caraxes, Syrax, the 3 dragon seeds, as far as we know right now, Vermithor, Silverwing, and Seasmoke, and Balin Moondancer, for a total of 7 dragons to Daeron's 1, Tessarion, who's barely able to fight. Tessarion is the current smallest living dragon that's able to fly into battle at all. And she is a fantastic dragon. I'll take note to Sarion's slander, the Blue Queen. It's a bummer that she doesn't breathe blue flame like she does in the books. Maybe they just didn't want to spend the money on blue flame, or maybe they're just saving that for later this season. And it sounds like Ormund is kind of still holding out hope that Aemon and Vhagar might just randomly show up and eventually help them, like he was expecting them to earlier this season, but he hasn't really explained how he's going to deal with the plot to crown Daemon if Aemon does show up on Vhagar, because Aemon still thinks that he is the king. So Ormund's big chess move here to use the town and the people is mostly to stall for time, thinking that Rhaenyra wouldn't dare burn her own people, hiding his own army amongst the townsfolk who declared for her initially, and also conscripting a lot of them into the general infantry to begin with, so that when they hit the field of battle, like Daemon's army rolls up the Rivermen and the Winter Wolves, the townspeople would be the first to burn because Ormund would be using them as a meat shield should Daemon choose to burn the town, which is actually what he wants to do, what he told Rhaenyra that he wants to do. It's Rhaenyra that's stopping him from doing that. Like, no, don't burn everybody.
We should have burned them when we had the chance.
But in the clip here, it really sounds like Ormund is actually banking more on the great houses all turning against Rhaenyra and siding with his plan to crown Daemon the new king should Aemon not show up. In the funny moment, obviously, of Gwayne making Ormund admit that none of the great houses support them right now, and he's kind of just living on his own hype right now. So it's all just smoke and mirrors trying to out-scheme Rhaenyra and Daemon until something big comes along that he's waiting for. And even though we're making fun of Ormund here, it's actually kind of working on Rhaenyra. Like, she's slowly going crazier and crazier and becoming more and more paranoid, but it wouldn't work on Daemon once he does eventually show up with his army. Like, that's the idea, is that he seems like the sensible one out of the two of them, him and Rhaenyra, which is actually a very weird situation, and usually it's flipped in previous seasons. Rhaenyra was the sensible one, Daemon was the wild one. You know you're in trouble when Daemon is the sensible one of the two of you. So the really big idea in episode 6 is that Ormund's gonna have to come up with some other way of beating or stalling Daemon's army of Rivermen and Winter Wolves, which it sounds like he'll discover by the end of episode 6, helping the Greens actually turn the tide in the war, that things become more even and they start to have a real chance again. Because I think they want to end Season 3 on a moment that feels like a decisive victory for the Greens, so that you head into Season 4 not really knowing who might come out the winner, because at least right now Rhaenyra still has the overwhelming advantage, the most amount of dragons, the greatest number of nuclear weapons. And you remember, that's Daemon's big thing. He was telling her, no matter what these other small problems that you're worried about are, dragons trump everything. You have the most dragons, you are the most powerful, the most legitimate therefore. The episode is also meant to be another big Criston Cole episode, and it seems like all of his battle scenes are from Butcher's Ball, which is basically an ambush that Criston Cole leads his men into near the God's Eye when the Winter Wolves and the Rivermen are able to get the drop on them. And when you look at one of these wide shots in the trailer, you can see how much they're able to overwhelm Criston Cole's very, very meager remaining forces. Like, it is no contest. And at least in the books, the way they play this is that Criston Cole, who has zero honor to his name at this point, like he's one of the biggest dirtbags on the series, Jaime Lannister would be impressed, demands of the Winter Wolves and the Rivermen an honorable chance to fight one-on-one, and should he win, they let him leave, like trial by combat situation where the accused is allowed to live if he wins his trial. But the Winter Wolves and the Rivermen aren't having it because of all the underhanded things that Criston Cole and his men have been doing lately as part of their guerrilla tactics that he made such a big deal about back at Harrenhal, because he told Gwayne Hightower, we're going to fight down and dirty, it won't be honorable, but we'll still win. So what that actually meant, and we got a couple scenes of it in a montage, was that they were fighting really dirty against the Rivermen, the Winter Wolves, for the last couple of weeks, which they, the Winter Wolves and the Rivermen, really, really hated. It was very dishonorable, so they do not grant Criston Cole the honor of a fair one-on-one fight. So this is the ironic way of throwing his lack of honor back in his face, like, you're asking for honor when you yourself have none.
Move this man!
We get a couple quick scenes of Daemon dressed up as one of the Gold Cloaks trying to find out himself who has been going around killing all of them. So we get a couple scenes of Daemon basically sneaking around pretending to be a Gold Cloak, which is going to be fun. And the actual person following him, who we saw colluding with Ormund Hightower in last week's episode, was actually the same City Watch guard with heterochromia with two different colored eyes from earlier this season. So it seems like he might be Perkin the Flea from the books. That's the big theory right now. We are in the middle of Comic-Con this weekend, so maybe HBO will release some more clips or footage of this episode, but it sounds like HBO was mostly focused this weekend on promoting Lanterns, the new Green Lantern DCU show. Like, I just literally did a new trailer video for that, so I'll link in the description below. They're starting episodes right after House of the Dragon finale in a couple weeks later this season. I will also be doing weekly episode videos for that. It's basically taking House of the Dragon's weekly episode time slot once it's done. It's mostly meant to feel like True Detective meets Green Lantern, Space Cop, super cosmic stuff, and it is connected to James Gunn's DCU. Kyle Chandler, Coach Taylor himself, is Hal Jordan. Aaron Pierre is like the new rookie Jon Stewart, who's also going to be in Superman 2 Man of Tomorrow and on the new Justice League as the main Green Lantern soon. Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner also shows up during the series, so I'll be doing separate videos for that, but it'll be like the next big HBO show in a couple of weeks, so look out for those. Next video will post Sunday night after they release it, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. Everybody click here for that episode. I'll update the link as soon as I post it, and click here for all my other House of the Dragon episodes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.